I saved HT-6, a heavy target, as the last mission in the heavy tank object 260 section before I move on to heavy tank 15. For two reasons. One, I'm normally a solo player, and I highly recommend this is done in a platoon, which I'll talk about in just a second. But I also assumed that this mission was going to be really, really hard to do. And I was quite surprised because this match is my first real attempt to get this mission done, and I was able to complete it. So I maybe psyched myself up a bit for a really, really long grind on this mission, but it's actually turned out to be pretty easy. Now, the reason that I highly recommend you do this in a platoon is you don't want to be wasting most of your time fighting matchmaker. If you're just running, say, a tier 6 heavy, the likelihood that you're going to get two tier 8 heavies to fire at is pretty low, and the likelihood that you're going to get the kills on them is pretty low. And having a couple partners with you to help coordinate shots and kills make this much, much easier. Now, more power to you if you want to run this solo. This is probably one of the most time-consuming missions to run solo, which is why I highly recommend you do it in a platoon. Now, also, you can see here that I've picked a tier 6 tank to do this in, and with tier 8 partners. Now, you can certainly run tier 8s with tier 10 partners, tier 6 with tier 10 partners. I've chosen tier 6 with tier 8 partners simply because the two guys that I'm running with only have tier 8 heavy tanks. But if I had a choice, I would actually probably run this with tier 6, tier 10 heavy tanks. And the reason is it gives you an opportunity to get tier 8, 9, and 10 heavy tanks in there. So the likelihood of having a wide variety of tanks to shoot at is much higher. The KV-85 is a good tank for this simply because, one, it's got a decent alpha. It's at 250. It's got a decent rate of fire if you need to make a second shot. And it fires APCR at 210 pen. So you actually still have a reasonable chance of penning pretty much everything that you're going to see, with a few exceptions. Of course, this E75 is one of the exceptions. His lower plate is pretty robust. And you're going to see here I'm struggling to find a spot to actually be able to pen him in reliably. Now, if you are platooning for this, and again, I can't stress enough that you should be platooning for this, it really helps to have a voice chat to help coordinate attacks on targets. So I've asked my two platoon mates to help burn down this E75, and he's getting low, so now I'm starting to engage. The big problem here, of course, is because he is an E75 and heavily armored, getting a shot depends. I'm going to switch to HE here, and unfortunately I throw a HE shot into his side and leave him with 2 health, which sent me into a little panic. So I sent another shot and completely missed, and now the E75 is getting away. This is another area where having friendlies is really helpful. I asked one of my platoon mates to go track him down and make sure that he didn't get away without killing him. So that was extremely useful. Big props to both of my platoon mates for helping me do this mission and doing it in one try. So I come up behind the E75, still have HE loaded, just put one right into the rear and get that first kill. And as soon as that first kill is over, you're halfway through the mission. Now it's just a question of getting that second kill, and my other platoon mate is already burning down his health. I load gold, and I have the rear of this tank, so I just put one right into the rear of him and get the second kill. On to HT-15 now. Hopefully this was helpful, guys, and hopefully you'll see HT-15 video soon.